Social worker. Kelly is also the author of Myself, an autobiography of survival. So glad that you can join us, Kelly, this morning. I have to say, when I read that advisory, I was so heartened because I felt so seen. I think a lot of us parents who also have careers and just a lot going on, we're feeling overwhelmed. A part of what Dr. Murthy wrote in his opinion piece in the New York Times also resonated with me, and it reads in part, parents are stretched for time. Compared with just a few decades ago, mothers and fathers spend more time working and more time caring for their children, leaving them less time for rest, leisure, and relationships. Stress, loneliness, and exhaustion can easily affect people's mental health and well-being. This is my life and so many other people's lives. What is going on in this modern day age that so many of us are feeling so overwhelmed?
So thank you so much for addressing this. And as you mentioned earlier, 1 in 3 parents are feeling overwhelmed. And yes, it's a policy issue, but that is a macro level. And on a more micro level, in terms of our communities, many parents feel like they're playing tug of war between parenting and working. And it is important to help each other out in community. The opposite of isolation is connection. And so no matter where you are on the parenting spectrum, whether you have young kids or teenagers, being able to check in with one another, normalize the struggle. We're all just trying to keep our head above water and really offer a helping hand. So maybe it's going over to a neighbor's house and allowing them to shower while you hold their infant, or it's offering to pick a child up from a practice after school. We need to help each other and lighten our loads, as well as recognizing that it's okay to say no and not compare our life to somebody else based on what we see on social media or just from our neighbors.
Let's talk about that culture of comparison that Dr. Murthy talked about on CNN. Here he is.
They're not only contending with the usual stressors that come with being a parent, worrying about finances and safety, but they're also worried about how to manage social media and phones for their kids, something that my parents didn't have to worry about. They're trying to figure out how to contend with a youth mental health crisis and a loneliness epidemic that are hitting kids really hard right now. So you put all that together with this really pernicious culture of comparison that has been amplified by social media that makes parents often feel like they are constantly comparing themselves to other parents and falling short.
And social media has been detrimental to our children's mental health and to also parents who are scrolling and, seeing that other parents are doing it better.
Sure. And, I think that there is a policy that will change things, hopefully, in the school system and banning cell phones in schools. But it is really important to educate our kids. I'm not only an expert in the field, but I'm a mom of 4 and trying to navigate this for myself and model some of that. When we're sitting and scrolling, our kids are watching everything we're doing, and it is a ripple effect. So not to put more pressure on parents to be perfect, but to really say, you know what, I'm going to put my phone in the drawer for an hour and give myself a mental health break and go for a walk. Would you like to come with me?
There's just not enough time in the day, though, to get everything accomplished, right? I mean, you have your at least 40-hour work weeks, then you're coming home, then you're trying to take care of the children. How do you find that balance?
Sure. So I think we're all striving for that. And some of us are better at it than others, depending on where we are in our career or the age of our children. I think the overwhelm can come from looking at the whole week. That can feel overwhelming. How am I going to do this? Really, we want to break it down into more manageable steps, maybe an hour at a time or a day at a time, and being able to be intentional about carving out time to decompress.
And if you can also just highlight why it's so important for us parents to take care of ourselves, because how we are and how we deal with our stress will impact our children's mental health.
Absolutely. So anxiety is contagious, and the more we project that onto our children, the more they pick that up. And really, we're trying to reverse the mental health crisis and not add to it. So really being able to be present and mindful wherever we can. And if we mess up, That's okay too. Forgive yourself, reset, and try again.
And it really takes a village, and I think it's okay to reach out and ask friends, acquaintances, the parents in your children's class to just help out whenever they can, because I'm sure you'll need that help.